Welcome to Read and Learn English. Today we begin a special journey. It is not only about learning English, but also about learning life. We will travel together into the story of Jeff Bezos, the man who created Amazon. But before we go into his story, let us begin with a question. How does an ordinary person, just like you or me, create the biggest online store in the world? Think for a moment. Many of us feel small in life. We feel stuck in the same place. We are afraid to dream big dreams. We choose safety because it feels comfortable. But safety can also make us weak. Now, imagine another path. Imagine a life where you take courage in your hands. Imagine saying yes to a vision that is bigger than yourself. This is the story of Jeff Bezos. Jeff was not born rich. He was not given Amazon as a gift. He was an ordinary boy who became a man with an idea. He had a good job on Wall Street, with a high salary and comfort. Most people would stay there. They would say, "I am safe. I do not need to risk anything." But Jeff did something different. He chose risk over comfort. He chose the unknown over the known. This choice was not easy. Leaving a safe job to chase a dream is like walking into a storm. You do not know if you will win or lose. You only know that if you stay safe, you will never grow. And so, Jeff stepped into the storm. He decided to follow the internet, a new world at that time. He decided to build a store, not in the street, but on the computer screen. People laughed. People doubted. But Jeff continued. Why? Because he believed in vision. Vision is like a light in the dark. It guides you forward when others stop. It gives you strength when others doubt. And this vision is what turned one man, one idea, into Amazon. But before Amazon, before the risk, there was a boy. A curious boy who loved to ask questions, to build, and to dream. To understand the man, we must first meet the child. And so let us go back to the beginning, to the days of Jeff's childhood. A curious boy. When we think about great success, we often imagine it begins with money or luck. But real success often begins with something much smaller. It begins with curiosity. Curiosity is the seed that grows into a tree. Without curiosity, there is no dream. Without curiosity, there is no discovery. And in the story of Jeff Bezos, curiosity was there from the very beginning. As a young boy, Jeff was different from many children around him. While other kids liked to play outside, run in the street, and pass the time, Jeff liked to ask questions. He wanted to know how things worked. He wanted to open things, touch things, build things, and sometimes even break things, just to understand what was inside. He was not happy with simple answers. He always wanted to go deeper. For example, one story from his childhood shows his curious mind. Jeff once tried to take apart his crib with a screwdriver because he wanted to sleep in a real bed like the adults. Most children would simply accept their crib and wait until they grew older. But Jeff asked, "Why not now?" This small moment shows something powerful. Curiosity is not just about asking questions. It is about refusing to accept limits. Jeff loved science and small experiments. He would spend hours with tools and gadgets, creating little projects. Some worked, some failed, but he always learned something new. He once built a small alarm system to keep his younger siblings out of his room. Imagine a young boy, carefully setting up wires and buzzers, making his own invention. While other kids played with toys, Jeff was making his own toys. Here we see the contrast. Many children play to enjoy the moment. Jeff played to learn. Many children asked simple questions like, "Can I go outside?" Jeff asked bigger questions like, "How does this work?" Or, "What happens if I change this?" This difference may look small in childhood, but it becomes very big in the future. Because the child who asks more will grow into the adult who sees more. Curiosity is the first seed of success. Think about a garden. If you plant no seeds, you will get no fruit. If you plant curiosity in your mind, you give yourself the chance to grow into something greater. Jeff's curiosity was the seed that one day grew into Amazon. But curiosity is not always easy. Sometimes curious children are told to stop asking so many questions. Sometimes teachers or parents become tired. They say, "Just accept it." But Jeff did not stop. He kept asking. He kept exploring. And that is another lesson for us. When you feel curious, do not kill your question. Feed it. Let it grow. Jeff also loved to read. Books opened new worlds for him. When he read, his mind traveled far away from his small town. He saw ideas, inventions, and possibilities. He learned that the world was bigger than his classroom, bigger than his neighborhood. Reading gave him new dreams, and curiosity pushed him to follow them. There is another story about Jeff when he was a teenager. He worked at his grandfather's ranch in Texas. Life there was not easy. He had to repair machines, fix fences, and solve problems. His grandfather taught him an important lesson. If something breaks, don't throw it away. Fix it. This lesson stayed in Jeff's heart. It was the same lesson he practiced as a boy when he built and repaired small things. He learned to be curious, to try, to fail, and to try again. Many children would see a broken machine and say, "It is finished." Jeff would see the same machine and say, "How can I make it work again?" That is curiosity plus courage. And when curiosity joins with courage, it becomes power. If you look at your own life, maybe you see moments like this. Times when you were curious, times when you wanted to know more. Maybe people told you to stop, but if you keep the spirit of curiosity alive, you will keep learning. And if you keep learning, you will keep growing. That is the same path Jeff followed. As Jeff grew older, his curiosity did not disappear. It became stronger. In school, he loved science and computers. He joined programs that allowed him to explore technology. He did not just study to pass exams. He studied to understand. He wanted to see the why behind every answer. And here is the important contrast. Many students study only for grades. They memorize for the test, and then they forget. Jeff studied for knowledge. He wanted to keep the knowledge inside him. This is why curiosity is more powerful than simple study. Curiosity gives life to learning. It makes learning exciting. Imagine a fire. If you put only paper on it, it will burn quickly and die. But if you add wood, the fire will grow stronger and last longer. Grades are like paper. They can burn fast and then disappear. Curiosity is like wood. It keeps the fire of learning alive for a long time. Jeff's fire never went out because he kept feeding it with curiosity. By the time Jeff finished high school, he was already dreaming of space, science, and technology. His teachers saw his talent. His family saw his passion. Everyone could see that Jeff was not just another boy. He was a boy who would do something important. But at this stage, no one could imagine what that would be. Not even Jeff himself. Still, the seed was planted. The small boy who asked questions, who built small alarms, who read books, and who repaired machines was becoming a young man. His curiosity was slowly turning into ambition. And ambition is curiosity with direction. It is curiosity with a dream. This is the lesson for us. Success begins with simple curiosity. The child who asks why may one day build a company. The person who asks questions may one day find answers that change the world. And so, when you feel that small voice inside asking a question, do not ignore it. Follow it. That question may be the beginning of your own Amazon. Now, let us continue our journey. We have seen the boy who was curious. Next, we will see how that boy grew into a man who faced a choice: the safe path of comfort or the risky path of dreams. The safe path versus the risky path. After many years of study and hard work, Jeff Bezos finished university. He had studied computer science and engineering, and he was ready to enter the world. Like many young people, he wanted a good job, a chance to prove himself, and maybe a chance to make his family proud. And soon, he found that job. It was not just any job. It was a job on Wall Street in New York City, one of the most famous places for money and business in the world. On Wall Street, Jeff worked with technology inside finance companies. His salary was high. He wore a nice suit. He walked in tall buildings where people talked about millions of dollars every day. He had everything that many young people dream of: safety, money, and respect. If you looked at him from the outside, you would say, "This man is successful already." But inside, Jeff felt something different. He felt safe, yes, but he also felt stuck. Every morning, he went to the office, sat at his desk, worked with numbers, and came home. Day after day, the same routine. He was comfortable, but he was not alive. It was like living in a golden cage. The cage was shiny and rich, but it was still a cage. This is where we see the contrast. The safe path is easy to explain. You take the job, you keep the salary, you stay in the same place, and you enjoy security. The risky path is harder to explain. It has no clear map. It has no guarantee. You may lose money, you may fail, and you may look foolish. Many people choose the safe path. Very few choose the risky one. Jeff had to decide. Should he continue the safe path of Wall Street, or should he take a step into the unknown? For many months, he worked with this question. He walked in the city, he thought at night. He even made lists of reasons to stay and reasons to go. It was not easy. Safety pulls us like gravity. It tells us, don't move, don't risk, stay here where it is warm. But curiosity and vision were still inside Jeff, pushing him forward, saying, there is more. There is something greater. During this time, the internet was beginning to grow. Most people did not understand it. Some thought it was only for scientists or students. But Jeff saw something else. He saw numbers that said the internet was growing fast, more than 2,000% each year. He asked himself, what business could I build on this wave? The answer came: an online store. A store that could sell not just in one city, but everywhere. And the first product he imagined was books. Think about the contrast again. On one side, a high salary, safety, and a clear future. On the other side, an idea about selling books on the internet, something no one believed in. Which would you choose? Most people would choose safety. Jeff chose the dream. But choosing the dream was not simple. Jeff had to tell his boss that he was leaving. His boss was surprised. He said, "Jeff, this is a good idea, but maybe not for now. maybe wait, maybe stay safe. Many people would listen to such advice, but Jeff did not. He said, "When I am 80 years old, I do not want to look back and regret not trying." This is a powerful lesson. Sometimes in life, you must look far into the future. Imagine yourself old, sitting in a chair, thinking about your life. Will you regret the risks you took, or will you regret the risks you did not take? Jeff decided he did not want regret. He wanted to try, even if he failed. And so he left Wall Street. He left the safe path. He packed his car with his wife, Mackenzie, and together they drove across America to Seattle. In the car, Jeff wrote his plan for Amazon. Imagine this picture: a young man, leaving behind a big salary, driving west with notes and dreams, hoping to build something new. This is not just a story about business. It is a story about courage. The safe path gives comfort, but it does not give growth. The risky path is full of fear, but it is also full of possibility. And life gives us these two paths again and again. We must choose. If we always choose safety, we may never grow. If we choose risk wisely, we may discover new worlds. Jeff's choice was not perfect. It was not easy. Many people laughed at him. They said, "Who will buy books on a computer? People like to go to bookstores. This will never work." But Jeff did not stop. He believed in his vision. He believed that the internet would change the world, and he wanted to be part of that change. This moment in Jeff's life shows us something important. Success is not only about intelligence or money. It is also about courage. It is about leaving the known and walking into the unknown. It is about believing in something that only you can see when others cannot. When Jeff drove across America, he was not driving only to Seattle. He was driving into his future. Every mile he traveled was a step away from safety and a step closer to his dream. That is the power of choosing the risky path. So what about you? Think about your own life. Maybe you are on a safe path now. Maybe you have comfort, but no growth. Or maybe you have a dream waiting inside you, asking for courage. Jeff's story shows that sometimes, to grow, you must leave comfort behind. You must take the risk. And so, Jeff arrived in Seattle. The safe path was behind him. The risky path was now in front of him. And in a small garage, he began to build something the world had never seen before. The idea of an online store. The year was the early 1990s, a time when the world was beginning to change. Computers were slowly entering homes, but the internet was still young. Many people had never even touched it. For most, the internet seemed like a toy, something small and strange, not something serious. But Jeff Bezos looked at it differently. He saw more than wires and screens. He saw the future. While working in New York, Jeff came across a report. This report showed how fast the internet was growing. It was not small growth. It was not slow. It was explosive, more than 2,000% each year. Jeff could not stop thinking about this number. To him, it was like seeing a hidden treasure map. It was proof that something new and powerful was coming, something that could change the way people lived. Jeff began asking himself questions. If the internet is growing so fast, what business could I build on it? What problem could it solve? What service could it give to millions of people? He wrote down ideas, one after another, and then he tested them in his mind. He thought about selling software. He thought about many products, But one idea kept shining brighter than the rest. Books. Why books? Books were perfect for the internet. In a normal bookstore, you can only hold a few thousand titles. But online, you can hold millions. People who live in small towns could suddenly buy books that were only available in big cities. Students, teachers, dreamers, anyone could find the book they wanted with a few clicks. The internet could make the world's biggest bookstore bigger than any shop on earth. For most people in 1994, this sounded crazy. The internet was slow. Many people had never used email. The sound of dial-up internet was still strange. Who would buy a book from a computer screen? Most people thought shopping online would never work. They laughed at the idea. They said, "People like to touch books, smell them, hold them before they buy. Nobody will trust the internet with money." But Jeff saw something different. Where others saw problems, he saw possibility. Where others saw risk, he saw opportunity. This was his aha moment, the moment when vision is born. The idea was clear in his mind: build an online bookstore, then later, build an online store for everything. Here we see the contrast again. Most people looked at the internet and saw nothing important. They thought it was a toy. Jeff looked at the internet and saw the biggest marketplace in human history. This is the difference between ordinary thinking and visionary thinking. Ordinary thinking says, "It cannot be done." Visionary thinking says, "What if it can?" Jeff began to imagine the details. He saw customers searching for books, clicking a button, and then receiving the book at their door. He imagined warehouses full of titles, ready to be shipped. He imagined a company that did not just sell books, but connected people to knowledge everywhere. And slowly, the idea of Amazon was born. But a dream is only a dream until you act. Jeff now had a choice. He could stay in his safe job on Wall Street, or he could risk everything to build his online bookstore. He thought deeply about this choice. He created what he called a regret minimization framework. In simple words, he asked himself, when I am 80 years old, will I regret staying safe, or will I regret not trying? The answer was clear. He would regret not trying. This lesson is powerful for us. Many times in life, we see opportunities, but we ignore them because others laugh. We feel afraid. We choose safety. But opportunity does not wait forever. Sometimes you must jump when the door is open. Jeff decided to jump, and so he prepared for the biggest decision of his life. He told his wife, Mackenzie, about his idea. She listened and believed in him. Together, they planned their move. Jeff went to his boss and explained his dream. His boss listened carefully and said, "This sounds like a good idea, but maybe not for you. Maybe wait. Maybe let someone else try." But Jeff's heart was already set. He knew this was his path. Leaving a safe job with high pay for an idea that everyone doubts is not easy. It feels like standing at the edge of a cliff, looking down and deciding to jump, not knowing if you will land or fall. But Jeff did not want to live in fear. He wanted to live with courage. So, Jeff and Mackenzie packed their bags. They left New York and drove across America to Seattle. In the car, Jeff typed his business plan on a laptop. He wrote about an online bookstore. He described how it could start small and then grow big. Every mile of that journey was a step away from safety and a step closer to vision. Imagine the picture: a young man, his wife by his side, driving west with dreams in his heart and notes on his computer. Behind him was Wall Street, with money and comfort. Ahead of him was a garage with boxes, books, and endless hard work. But also ahead was the possibility of building something the world had never seen before. This moment in Jeff's life teaches us another lesson: seeing opportunity when others see nothing. It is easy to laugh. It is easy to say no. But the people who change the world are the ones who say yes when everyone else says no. The internet was a new ocean. Most people were afraid to sail on it. Jeff built his boat and started rowing. That is why today, when we think of online shopping, we think of Amazon. But remember, it all started with one idea, one dream, and one man willing to leave safety behind. And now, Jeff had reached Seattle. He had his idea, he had his plan, and he had his courage. The next step was to turn vision into reality. He needed a place to work, a small team, and the energy to build. And so the story continues, in a small garage where Amazon would first come alive. Starting in a garage, Jeff Bezos moved to Seattle with a clear dream in his mind. He wanted to build something big, something that could change the world. But dreams are not reality. When he arrived, the reality was very different. He rented a small house, and the work had to start in a tiny garage. This garage was far from the offices and skyscrapers most people imagine for a big company. It was small, crowded, and full of old computers, boxes, and wires. The contrast between Jeff's vision and the garage was huge. In his mind, he saw millions of books sold online, customers all over the world, and a company growing every day. But in reality, he had a few computers, a tiny team, and long lists of problems. Every day was a challenge. Every day required effort, patience, and courage. Many people would look at the garage and see failure. Jeff saw opportunity. The first days were difficult. Jeff and his small team worked 12, 14, even 16 hours a day. They packed books themselves. They typed orders into the computer. They tested the website again and again. Sometimes computers crashed. Sometimes packages were sent to the wrong place. Every mistake felt huge, but they did not give up. Every small step was a lesson. Mackenzie, Jeff's wife, helped as well. She typed orders, answered questions, and encouraged the team. Everyone worked like a family. There were no big offices, no luxury, and no fancy equipment, only determination, belief, and shared dreams. Step by step, they started to turn the idea into reality. Many people think success begins with money, big offices, or large teams. Jeff's story shows the opposite. Real success often begins small. A garage, a few computers, and people who believe in the same dream are enough. Great things often start with humble beginnings, small actions, and daily effort. Even with hard work, Jeff never lost sight of his vision. Every problem became a lesson. Every mistake taught him something new. If a computer failed, he learned to fix it. If an order went wrong, he improved the system. He understood that each small action built the foundation of a much larger company. Slowly, Amazon began to grow. Customers discovered the website and started buying books online. The small garage became a busy place. Boxes, wires, and computers filled every corner, but they were also full of energy. Every order packed, every mistake corrected, and every new customer was a small victory. The contrast between dream and reality continued. Jeff imagined a large company, employees everywhere, and packages moving around the world, but the reality was small and messy. Yet he kept working. This is the lesson. Even when reality is difficult, your vision can remain big. Persistence was another key lesson. Jeff faced doubts and failures every day. People laughed at him, told him it would not work, or warned him about risks. But he continued. Building something big takes time, effort, and daily commitment. Every large company starts with small steps and careful action. Months passed, and Amazon began attracting more attention. More customers visited the site. More books were sold. Jeff's garage became a busy center of activity. The energy in that small space grew with every success, no matter how small. From this tiny garage, Amazon started its journey to greatness. The lessons were clear. Small beginnings, hard work, persistence, and belief in a vision are the true foundation of success. Jeff had turned his dream into action, showing that even the largest companies begin with humble steps. Now, Amazon was no longer just a small website in a garage. The next challenge was to grow faster, overcome doubt, and reach the world. This is where the story continues, showing how Jeff moved from small beginnings to remarkable growth. Growth and doubt. Amazon was growing. Orders were coming in every day. The small garage team was working harder than ever, and the website was becoming more popular. People liked the idea of buying books online. They could choose from thousands of titles without leaving their homes. For Jeff and his team, it felt like progress. But outside the garage, many people did not see the same picture. The world was full of doubt. Newspapers, magazines, and business experts wrote articles about the internet bubble. They said Amazon was risky. Some said, "No one will trust online shopping. This company will fail." Others called Jeff Bezos crazy. They laughed at the idea of selling books over the internet. They said it would never work and that he was wasting his time. Here we see a big contrast. On one side, there was Jeff, believing in his vision. On the other side, there were critics saying the company would fail. The contrast was clear. Most people saw risk, but Jeff saw opportunity. Most people focused on the problems, but Jeff focused on the solution. This is an important lesson. When you have a vision, you must believe in it, even when others do not. Jeff remembered the small garage where it all began. He thought about the long hours, the mistakes, and the small victories. He knew that building something great takes time. He did not want to be discouraged by people who did not understand the idea. He understood that others could not see the future, but he could. The media attention was both good and bad. Some articles were positive, praising the website for its innovation, but many were negative, criticizing Amazon for losing money and growing too fast. Journalists said, "This company will disappear like many other dot-com startups." Jeff read these articles and felt pressure, but he did not panic. He believed in long-term thinking. He knew success was not about short-term approval. In the early days, Amazon did lose money. Expenses were high, and the company had to hire more people, buy more computers, and rent bigger warehouses. Critics said, "You cannot grow this fast without failing." But Jeff had a plan. He was patient. He knew that building trust with customers and improving the system would take time. He focused on the long game, not the immediate results. Jeff also believed in learning from mistakes. Every time the company lost money, he analyzed why it happened. Every time a customer complained, He found ways to improve the service. He treated doubt and criticism as lessons, not threats. This attitude kept him moving forward, step by step. Many people would have stopped. Many companies failed during this time because they listened too much to critics. But Jeff's belief was stronger than fear. He kept hiring smart people, building better technology, and improving the website. He remembered his vision, a world where anyone could buy any book online, easily and quickly. There were moments of stress, employees worried about jobs, investors worried about money. Jeff had to reassure everyone while continuing to push forward. He knew that leadership was about staying calm, being focused, and keeping the vision alive. Even when the world doubted, he remained confident in what Amazon could become. This period of growth and doubt teaches an important lesson. Success is not only about early victories. It is about believing in your vision when the world says no. It is about patience, persistence, and courage. Doubt is everywhere, but the people who change the world continue to move forward. Slowly, Jeff's patience began to pay off. Customers loved Amazon's service. The website became more popular. Sales increased. The team learned faster, improved processes, and worked together efficiently. The small garage mindset had grown into a strong company culture focused on the long term. And so, despite media criticism and financial challenges, Amazon continued to grow. Jeff's belief in his vision, even when others doubted, became the most important factor. He proved that faith in your ideas, combined with hard work and patience, can overcome fear and criticism. From doubt came confidence. From small victories came larger ones. Jeff's vision, which once seemed impossible to outsiders, slowly became real. The next step was turning this growing company into something extraordinary, reaching millions of people and changing the world of shopping forever. Failures and struggles. As Amazon grew, not everything went smoothly. The path to success is never straight. There were many moments of failure and struggle. In the early years, Amazon lost a lot of money. Every new project cost more than expected. Every new warehouse, every new computer, and every new employee added expenses. At times, it seemed like the company could not survive. Many people believed it would fail. During the late 1990s, the dot-com boom created excitement. Many internet companies appeared overnight. Investors were willing to put money into almost anything online. But then the bubble burst. Many companies disappeared. Some failed completely. Amazon faced the same danger. Critics said, "You are too slow. You are too expensive. You will disappear." It felt like the end. Here we see a big contrast. Many people see failure as the end. They see it as proof that a dream is impossible. But Jeff Bezos saw failure differently. He saw it as a lesson. Every loss, every mistake, and every bad project was an opportunity to learn. He studied every failure carefully. He asked, "Why did this happen? How can we improve?" This mindset kept Amazon alive when many other companies disappeared. One example of failure was a project called Amazon Auctions. Jeff wanted to compete with eBay and create an online auction site. The idea sounded good, but customers did not use it. It was expensive and complicated to manage. Many people laughed at the failure, but Jeff did not see it as waste. He analyzed it, learned why it did not work, and used the knowledge for future projects. Another struggle was the early delivery system. At first, shipments were slow and sometimes lost. Customers were frustrated. The media criticized Amazon. Headlines said, "Online bookstores cannot succeed." But Jeff focused on solutions. He improved the logistics system, hired better managers, and built warehouses closer to customers. Slowly, the system worked better and customer trust grew. During these hard times, the team sometimes felt discouraged. They worked long hours and faced constant pressure. Many people would have quit, but Jeff inspired them to keep going. He reminded them that growth is not easy. He said that mistakes are part of building something big. Failure is not defeat, it is a step toward success. Even Jeff himself felt fear. He worried about money, employees, and the future. He sometimes stayed up all night thinking, planning, and finding solutions. But he did not let fear stop him. Instead, he used it to focus, to plan carefully, and to act wisely. This is another lesson. Fear is natural, but it can become strength if you use it correctly. Through these failures, Amazon learned resilience. The company became stronger because of struggles. Every mistake taught them how to serve customers better, manage operations faster, and make smarter decisions. The culture of learning from failure became a core part of Amazon's success. Contrast shows the real lesson. Many people give up after a single failure. They see it as proof that they are not good enough. Jeff saw failure as proof that he could improve. Each failure became a step forward. Each struggle became a guide for the next decision. By the early 2000s, Amazon was still growing, despite losses and criticism. The dot-com crash had ended many companies, but Amazon survived. The failures had prepared the company to be smarter, stronger, and ready for the future. Jeff's belief in long-term vision, combined with learning from mistakes, turned challenges into growth. From these struggles, another important lesson emerges. Success is not a straight path. Failure is not the opposite of success. Failure is part of the process. The key is how you respond. Do you give up, or do you learn? Jeff chose to learn, and that choice saved Amazon. By continuing to work through failures, Jeff and his team built a foundation for real success. They learned that persistence, analysis, and courage are as important as vision. Failure became a teacher, not a threat. And this attitude prepared them for the next stage, when Amazon would move from a surviving company to a dominant global business. The long-term vision. By the early 2000s, Jeff Bezos had learned many lessons. He had seen success, failure, doubt, and struggle. But one idea became the most important for him and Amazon: long-term vision. While many companies focused on quick profits and short-term gains, Jeff focused on the future. He wanted Amazon to last, to grow, and to be trusted by customers for decades. Most businesses think about money first. They want to earn profits quickly. They may cut costs, reduce quality, or ignore customer needs just to show high numbers at the end of the quarter. This approach works in the short term, but it can destroy trust and reputation. Customers may buy once, but they will not return if the company treats them poorly. Many internet companies during the dot-com era failed because they ignored this lesson. Jeff understood this clearly. He believed in something bigger than money: customer obsession. He wanted every decision at Amazon to be about the customer. Every product, every process, every service had to make the customer happy. This became Amazon's core value. Jeff would ask his team, what will make the customer experience better? Not, how much profit can we make today? For example, in the early days, shipping was a challenge. It cost money to send packages fast, but Jeff insisted on fast and reliable delivery. Even if it reduced short-term profit, it built trust. Customers began to believe that Amazon cared about them. They returned again and again because they knew they could rely on the service. This was the beginning of long-term success. Contrast is important here. Many companies chase fast money. Jeff chose slow, steady growth. Many people laughed at the strategy. They said, "You are spending too much. You will never make quick profits." But Jeff ignored them. He looked 10, 20, even 50 years ahead. He imagined a company where people would always trust Amazon. He imagined a company that would grow because of loyalty, not just advertising. Customer obsession was not easy. It required careful planning, constant innovation, and attention to details. Jeff and his team studied every process. They analyzed how customers shopped, how they searched for books, and what problems they faced. They built systems to improve every step, every click, every order, every delivery was examined to make it better. One story shows this clearly. Jeff noticed that customers sometimes complained about missing books. Instead of blaming suppliers or ignoring the problem, he decided to invest in better inventory systems. He improved warehouses, trained employees, and created technology to track every product. It cost money, but it built trust. Customers knew Amazon would solve their problems. They knew the company cared. This long-term vision also encouraged innovation. When you think about decades, you can experiment. Jeff launched Kindle, Amazon Prime, and cloud services not to earn immediate profit, but to improve customer experience and grow the company in the long term. He believed that serving customers well today would create success tomorrow. Many companies fail because they chase instant rewards. Jeff understood patience. He knew that real success is slow and steady. It grows like a tree. You plant a seed, water it, and care for it every day. It takes time to grow, but the fruit lasts. Amazon became a company that could survive challenges because it was built on trust, service, and patience. Contrast shows the lesson clearly. Quick profit may disappear tomorrow. Long-term vision builds a foundation for decades. Money comes and goes, but trust lasts. Jeff's focus on customers created loyalty, repeat business, and a strong culture inside Amazon. Employees understood that serving others was more important than immediate gains. By thinking long-term, Jeff prepared Amazon for the future. Even when critics doubted, even when the market was unstable, he kept building systems, improving processes, and focusing on customers. Every choice was guided by a simple question: will this help our customers? This vision transformed Amazon from a growing online bookstore into a global company. It encouraged new ideas, new technologies, and new services. Kindle allowed people to read books anywhere. Prime delivered products faster than ever. AWS created a new market for cloud computing. All of these innovations came from a simple principle: long-term vision and customer obsession. The lesson is clear. Real success takes patience, courage, and service to others. Quick rewards may seem attractive, but they rarely create lasting achievement. Jeff's story shows that when you focus on helping people, thinking ahead, and building trust, growth and innovation follow naturally. With this vision, Amazon began not only to grow in size, but also to change the world of business. The next step in our story shows how this focus on long-term goals led to bold innovations that no one imagined, taking Amazon from a simple online bookstore to a company that reshaped entire industries. Innovation and expansion. Amazon started as a simple online bookstore in a small garage. But Jeff Bezos had a vision that went far beyond books. He wanted Amazon to grow into a company that could serve people in many ways. This meant innovation. Innovation means creating new ideas, new products, and new ways of doing things. Jeff knew that to survive and grow, Amazon had to keep changing and improving. In the early 2000s, Amazon began expanding beyond books. Electronics, music, DVDs, and toys became part of the online store. Customers liked the convenience of buying many things in one place. What started as a small idea in a garage was becoming a larger reality. Every new product added more customers, more orders, and more challenges. The company had to learn fast to manage this growth. The contrast was incredible. From a tiny garage with a few boxes of books, Amazon was becoming a global empire. The small team that once worked 12 hours a day was growing into thousands of employees. The company now needed warehouses, servers, and advanced systems to handle millions of orders. What was once a dream was now a massive reality. But Jeff never lost the spirit of innovation that had started it all. One of the most important innovations was Amazon Prime. Jeff noticed that customers liked fast delivery. Waiting for a package could be frustrating, so he decided to create a membership program that promised faster shipping and special benefits. At first, people were unsure if it would work, but customers loved it. Prime made shopping easier and more exciting. It created loyalty, bringing people back again and again. Another big innovation was the Kindle. Jeff wanted to make reading easier for everyone. Books were heavy and took space. Some people lived far from bookstores. Kindle allowed people to read hundreds of books on one device. At first, critics doubted it. They said people would not like reading on a screen, but Jeff believed in the idea. Today, millions of people use Kindle to read anywhere, anytime. Amazon Web Services, or AWS, was another bold step. Many companies need computers and storage, but building their own systems is expensive. Jeff thought Amazon could offer these services to other companies using its technology. At first, it seemed strange to turn part of Amazon into a service provider, but it worked. AWS became one of the most profitable parts of the company. This shows how thinking differently can create opportunities that others cannot see. Innovation was not easy. Every new product, every new service required risk and learning. Many experiments failed. Some products did not sell well. Some services needed improvement. But Jeff always treated these as lessons. He encouraged the team to try new ideas, learn quickly, and move forward. The rule was simple: innovate or risk being left behind. The lesson here is important. To grow and survive, companies and people must innovate. Sticking to the same old ways is easy, but dangerous. Change brings challenges, but it also brings growth. Jeff's continuous innovation allowed Amazon to expand from a bookstore to a company serving millions of people worldwide. This growth also reflected Jeff's personal development. Running a small company in a garage taught him leadership and patience. Growing Amazon into a global empire taught him vision, strategy, and courage. As the company innovated, Jeff also grew as a leader. He learned to inspire people, to manage risks, and to think about the long-term future. The expansion of Amazon shows another contrast. What started with a few books in a garage became a platform for technology, entertainment, and retail. Amazon created new ways for people to buy, read, and use technology. Every innovation built on the lessons of the past: customer obsession, long-term vision, and persistence through failure. By constantly innovating, Jeff showed that success is not only about money or size. It is about thinking ahead, trying new things, and learning from every experience. Each step of innovation made Amazon stronger and more capable of serving the world. The company became not only a global business, but a source of inspiration for entrepreneurs everywhere. And so, Amazon's growth continued. New products, new services, and new technologies appeared. The company was no longer just a bookstore. It was an empire of ideas, learning, and opportunity. Jeff's journey was not just about creating a business. It was about creating a culture of innovation, courage, and growth. The next stage in Jeff's story is not only about building a bigger company. It is about how he grew as a person, learning lessons of leadership, resilience, and vision that shaped Amazon and inspired millions around the world. Leadership and lessons. Jeff Bezos is not only famous for building Amazon, he is also known for the way he leads. Leadership is more than giving orders. Many bosses only tell people what to do. They focus on control and power. But Jeff believed that true leadership is about inspiration, vision, and action. He wanted to guide people, not just manage them. This difference shaped Amazon's culture and its success. From the beginning, Jeff introduced a philosophy called Day One. The idea is simple but powerful. Every day, no matter how big Amazon becomes, think like it is the first day. Imagine a new company with energy, curiosity, and focus. Imagine a small team working in a garage, full of hope and determination. That mindset keeps people innovative, humble, and attentive to customers. Contrast helps us understand this lesson. Many companies become slow after growing big. Leaders forget the small team in the garage. They stop experimenting. They stop listening to customers. Jeff refused to let Amazon become that way. Even when the company became huge, he reminded employees to act like it is day one. This philosophy drives constant improvement and new ideas. Jeff's leadership style is also about trust and empowerment. He gives employees responsibility and freedom to make decisions. He encourages them to think independently and take risks. Mistakes are not punished, but analyzed. This approach creates a team that feels motivated, responsible, and creative. People do not work just for a salary. They work because they believe in the mission. One story shows this clearly. Jeff once noticed a team struggling to develop a new service. Instead of giving strict instructions, he asked questions. He listened carefully, encouraged ideas, and allowed the team to experiment. The result was better than anyone expected. Jeff's role was not to control every detail, but to guide and inspire. This is a lesson for all leaders. Inspire, do not command. Humility is another key lesson. Despite his wealth and success, Jeff stays focused on customers and improvement. He knows that no company is perfect and that learning never stops. Leaders who stay humble are open to feedback, willing to adapt, and able to see problems clearly. Jeff models this for everyone at Amazon. Another important part of his philosophy is hunger. Leaders must remain curious, ambitious, and restless. Success is never permanent. There is always something new to learn, a problem to solve, or an opportunity to explore. Jeff encourages his team to maintain this energy. He believes that day one is not just a phrase, it is a way of thinking about life and work. Contrast again shows the lesson. Some leaders become proud and slow. They focus on personal gain, position, or comfort. Jeff focuses on learning, serving others, and pushing forward. This mindset keeps Amazon competitive, innovative, and resilient. It also creates a culture where employees feel proud to contribute, take risks, and dream big. Jeff also teaches the power of vision. A leader is not only responsible for the present, but also for the future. He sets goals that may seem impossible and inspires others to reach them. Every decision at Amazon is guided by long-term thinking, customer focus, and the day one philosophy. Employees understand that their work matters and that their effort builds something greater than themselves. These lessons apply not only to business, but also to life. Stay humble. Always listen, learn, and respect others. Stay hungry. Keep dreaming, exploring, and improving. Think like it is the first day. Every day is a chance to create, to grow, and to serve. Jeff's leadership shows that success is not only about power or wealth, it is about vision, character, and the ability to inspire others. Through his leadership, Jeff has built more than a company. He has created a culture of learning, innovation, and courage. Amazon thrives because of its people, and its people thrive because of its leadership. This is a lesson for anyone, anywhere. Success is built on character, vision, and the ability to guide and inspire others. From Jeff's leadership, we can move to a final lesson for learners everywhere. His story teaches that courage, vision, patience, and persistence are not just for business, they are for life. Every dream, every challenge, and every opportunity requires the same principles. What we can learn. Jeff Bezos' story may feel far away, like it belongs to someone else. He built the world's biggest online company, changed the way people shop, and became one of the richest men in history. But the lessons from his journey are not just for billionaires. They are for everyone. They are for you, for me, for anyone who wants to grow, learn, and reach their dreams. Think about Jeff in his garage, typing orders on old computers, surrounded by boxes and wires. At that moment, he was just an ordinary person with a big idea. He was not special. He was curious. He was brave, and he was willing to work hard. He faced doubt, failure, and fear. Yet, step by step, he moved forward. That is the real secret. Success is not magic. It is small, daily effort combined with vision. Contrast this with the ordinary path many people take. Some stay in comfort, afraid of failure, or unwilling to take risks. They dream, but they do not act. They see opportunities, but hesitate. Jeff's story shows that daring to grow, even from small beginnings, makes all the difference. The garage is a symbol. It reminds us that the size of your start does not matter. What matters is courage, persistence, and curiosity. Curiosity is the first step. Ask questions, explore ideas, and never stop learning. Courage is the second. Be willing to take risks, even if others doubt you. Patience is next. Success takes time. Jeff did not become successful overnight. He faced failures, doubts, and struggles. Persistence is also crucial. Keep going when things are hard. Each small action builds toward bigger results. Imagine your own garage, your small beginning. It could be a notebook, a computer, a hobby, or a simple idea. If you nurture it with curiosity, courage, patience, and persistence, it can grow. You may not become Jeff Bezos, you may not build Amazon, but you can create your own success, your own improvement, and your own growth. You can take small steps every day toward your dreams. The final lesson is hope. Your journey matters. Every effort, every question, every risk counts. Growth is possible for anyone willing to try. Jeff Bezos started small, but he dreamed big and acted. You can do the same. The world needs your ideas, your courage, and your persistence. Your garage moment is waiting. Start today. Take one step, no matter how small. Keep learning, keep working, and keep dreaming. Over time, your small steps will lead to great achievements. The future belongs to those who dare to grow, who act on their dreams, and who never give up. Jeff's story teaches us that ordinary people can do extraordinary things. Curiosity, courage, patience, and persistence are keys anyone can use. Your journey is yours to build, one small step at a time. Now, it is your turn. Think about your own dreams, your own garage moment. What is one small step you can take today? Write it down, plan it, and take action. It does not need to be perfect. What matters is that you start. Curiosity will guide you. Ask questions about the world and your interests. Learn something new every day. Courage will help you face fear and doubt. Take risks, even small ones, because growth never happens in comfort. Patience reminds you that success takes time. Keep going, even when results are slow. Persistence ensures that you do not give up when obstacles appear. Remember Jeff in his garage, working long hours, facing doubt and failure, but never stopping. Your journey may not be easy, but every effort counts. Share your progress with someone, keep a journal, or set weekly goals. Celebrate small wins. If you act today, your small steps will add up. You can improve your life, learn new skills, and move closer to your dreams. You do not need to be Jeff Bezos. You only need to start, stay consistent, and believe in yourself. Your Amazon is waiting. Take the first step now.